You ever wonder why so many kids get excited about technology and coding, but then just lose interest? Well, according to a really insightful article by H.F. Chang, it might be because we've been starting in completely the wrong place. So today, we're going to dive into a simple secret that could change everything.
So what is that big mistake we're all making? The thing is, when we teach stuff like robotics or coding, we often start in a way that's totally backward. And it can actually crush a kid's natural curiosity before they even get started.
And here it is. This is the core idea that just flips the whole script. You see, real maker education doesn't start with knowledge. It starts with interaction. It's not about memorizing definitions. It's about a feeling, a response, a connection. And this, right here, just lays it all out. The old way, over on the left, we just bury kids under all this technical stuff. What is Arduino? What is input-output? But the new way, it starts with one single powerful idea: interaction. Everything else, it flows from that first spark.
Okay, so what do we actually mean by interaction? It's not just about pushing buttons, right? It's about that deeper feeling of understanding the relationship between what you do and what happens next. And this is the magic moment. It's that light bulb moment when a kid realizes they have agency, that they can actually make the world respond to them. The second an object reacts to what they did, their entire learning mindset just clicks on.
So to make this really concrete, the author breaks it down into these 3 layers of making. And what's cool is that each example builds on the last, creating this powerful mental model for how technology works. And it does it without any scary jargon. All right, first up, we have this thing called a useless box. You flip the switch to turn it on, and what happens? A little mechanical arm pops out of the box and just turns the switch right back off. I mean, it's hilarious. It's totally unexpected, and for a kid, it's instantly fascinating. But underneath all that fun, there's a really deep lesson here. This little box is basically teaching you the fundamental logic of all programming. There's an input, you flipping the switch. There's logic, the rule that says if the switch is on, turn it off. And there's an output, the arm moving. It's that simple. It's intuitive. So the kid isn't just looking at some funny toy, you know? They're getting this really core idea. Wait a minute, I can design the rules. I can make something do what I want it to do. And that feeling is the very foundation of empowerment. All right, now let's take it up a notch with the second layer. Here, you've got a performer who's playing the drums. But wait, there are no drums. Instead, he has sensors in his sticks and on a foot pedal, and they're turning his physical movements directly into digital sound. So our little formula, it gets a bit more complex, but it's still super easy to follow. We've just added movement and sensing to the front of the chain. And what this shows a kid is that their own body can be part of the system. A human action can become the input.
And this is where their imagination just goes wild. A kid watching this isn't just seeing a cool performance. They start thinking, whoa, wait a minute, if a drumstick can make a sound, could my dancing make lights turn on? They're not thinking about code. They're thinking about pure possibility.
Okay, for the final example, we're scaling things way, way up. Picture this, a stadium packed with people at a concert, and all of their individual light sticks are changing color at the exact same time, creating this huge, shared, pulsing experience. And just like that, our mental model grows again. Now we're adding ideas like wireless signals and synchronized output. It shows that interaction can go from a one-to-one thing to a one-to-many thing, a whole network of devices all responding together. You see, this is a huge mental leap. A kid's thinking shifts from, I can build a thing, to, we can design an experience. It goes from just being a personal project to thinking about users and social connection. And that, right there, is a total game changer. So once a kid totally gets the why, the awesome power of interaction, they get really hungry for the how. And that, right there, is the perfect moment to bring in the tools. I mean, that's the next logical question, isn't it? After seeing all this cool stuff, kids aren't just willing to learn. They're actually excited to figure out how to build these rules and behaviors themselves. And this is where something like Blockly-Duino comes into play. But here's a really important point the author makes. This is not about dumbing down coding. It's not coding for babies. It's about making the whole system, the whole logic, visible. It's something you can literally see and touch and move around. And this visual way of doing things, It has some massive benefits. Instead of getting bogged down in syntax, kids are literally arranging ideas in space. They see how systems are built from these little modular blocks they can connect and rearrange. They can debug by just looking at it. And it sets them up to learn text-based code later without being afraid of it. Which brings us to a really powerful conclusion. It's all about this. Interaction is where that cross-disciplinary thinking, connecting art and science and design, it just becomes second nature. Think about it. Without a purpose, without some kind of response you want to get, logic is just, well, it's just an abstract puzzle. Interaction is what gives that logic a reason to exist. And really, this is the biggest takeaway of all. The tools, the code, the sensors, they aren't the point. They're just the way we get there. They're the tools we use to create those meaningful interactions. So if there's one thing you take away from all this, it's this. If you want to raise creative, adaptable kids, don't start with a lecture about what an Arduino is. Start by letting them feel that magic of making the world respond to them. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Because a tool just gives a kid a skill for today. But teaching possibility? That gives them a mindset that could literally change the world.